One of the things that I like to do when playing any game is to test the strength of its mechanic. So in Genshin Impact, my favorite pastime is to mess up with the climbing mechanic in this game. So right now it is particularly normal, but this board in this limited time event has a very unique properties to it, and that it has like a leaning edge where you can see there Shinobu's hand is starting to holding on to the board kind of weirdly, but it actually gets a lot better. There you go. Okay, so Shinobu's right leg is now inside her chest, and okay, so her legs become her body. I don't think I can do that. Yeah, I don't think I can do this in real life. Oh my god, what is this pose? Oh my god, okay, that hand doesn't look good. Yeah, I think this is like a good opportunity to address that Genshin Impact has its own kind of like censorship, so that you don't pick under each character's pants. But as you can see here, I can go and looking at this character's butt, and the shader kind of fades it away from view. So yeah, there is some kind of like censorship in there. What I'm interested in is this ledge over here. So you can see that it's half as high as Yoimiya, but you can actually just climb it without triggering the climbing animation. You can just like walk to it like that. Just kind of interesting, maybe because there's that wood over there. You can see there the third wood on the from the left right there. So as this level. So if I were to do it from here, I don't think it will work. I think it will just trigger Yoimiya's climbing animation. Yes. But if I do it from here, because that third wood is already there, Yoimiya can just walk right there. And it actually creates like a very unique position where Yoimiya can appear like, yeah, look at that. Her feet is, my health bar kind of blocks it, but yeah, she is literally floating. You can see there. Because there is like a mismatch between like the hitbox and her. Yeah, and that actually becomes ridiculous, right? Yoimiya is floating in her idle animation. So maybe the idle animation doesn't actually like change the collider. I don't know about that though. But yeah, the collider is a little bit bigger than the character itself. I wonder what happens if I switch to other characters though. My theory is that all character actually has like the same hitbox. So let's change to like other smaller character. Nope, she doesn't fall it too. No, he doesn't fall too. Yeah, she also floats. So apparently like the character controller, the collider for the feet and the feet IK is exactly the same with every models. Because in Genshin Impact we have 5 basic models, right? The rig. So there's like the adult for both female and male, and then we have the teenagers model for female and male too, and then we have the child female model. So yeah, all of them have an exact character controller, which makes sense because all of them actually moves like exactly the same, bar the animation of course, but yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. Okay, so the lighting is actually pretty simple. It's just a cylinder here, right? It's probably even like a 2D cylinder. This one though, yeah, I think it's also a 2D cylinder. Maybe it's 2D. Yeah, I think it's just a 2D sprite with some like particles raining around from above. Looks kind of nice actually, with some like dust particle here and there. This actually also exists in here too. No, this one doesn't have the particle, just that one. And this one is actually more complicated. Another interesting thing that I would like to observe from this game is its implementation of light. So using this kind of like zoom in function, we can see that the light itself consists of like two parts. The first one is an actual light. As you can see that, well, this one doesn't actually have like an actual light. It's just bloom, right? So it's like a bloom with like a soft intensity, but it has like a huge radius so that it actually creates like a halo effect around the object itself. But if we move the camera outside of the frame, you can see that the bloom effect actually disappears like that. So yeah, you can see there that the bloom effect disappears, and it will return if I have that the face texture, the face of the object that is, returns to the camera. You can see it right there. So it's not an actual lighting, it's just a bloom. Now that is an entirely different case with the thing inside this stage, which does have like a point light. Yeah, I think it's a point light because it is like a point light on the from the ceiling to the floor. So you can see here that there is like shadow around here, right? This lantern though doesn't actually cast a shadow, as you can see here. And same goes for the lanterns in front of this thing. So see, there is no shadow. It's just a post-processing effect. Now this one is another... Well, it's actually... Okay, this one is actually pretty weird because this area appears to be light up, but it doesn't cast shadow. Maybe just like a light map bake or something? Or maybe it's just like a light setting that doesn't have a shadow. Okay, so we have like 3 different ways of you lighting your scene. It's very interesting, and it actually goes like a little bit absurd for the lighting that you can see inside this tent, because apparently it doesn't even care there is this tent in the way, because you can see here that Yoimiya still casts a shadow from the inside, well, when the light is truly blocked by the curtains. So it gets a little bit weird, but yeah. There must be like some settings that allows it to actually ignore it. But that being said though, I don't know why her shadow getting cut off in there. Maybe there's like apparently like there is a plane where she can project the shadow, because over here you don't get that. You only get like her feet right there, reflections. And you can see like there's a plane here where a reflection kind of mixed, and then yeah, there's another plane over there where the reflection doesn't exist anymore. That's interesting. Very interesting. So once again, the window is just like a white texture with a little bit of a bloom, because you can see here that when we are outside of it, the bloom kind of dissipates a little bit. So I wonder how they create this god rays though. I mean, it's not animated, and it's not as fancy as the Diluc or like the Knights of Favonia's god rays, where there's like particles flying around, but it still looks rather good. The curtains. How they create the curtains? I know it doesn't have a collider, and we cannot exactly climb on it, but I think it's modeled manually. Yeah, and I want to know if the seams, is the seams actually like a seam in the model, or is it just like a texture? I think it's just a texture. Yeah, it's just a texture with some normal maps. Maybe not even like a normal map. Yeah, the bottom part though is a thing. Look at that particle. Oh, how do they do that? How do they create this kind of particles? It's like a swirling particle, but it's not actually a swirling particle. It just appears swirling, right? I think it's 2D.
Have you ever kept goldfish as pets? They're very cute.
Ooh, I really like the reflection in here though. So cool. Yeah. Oh, well, those are not ray tracing, but oh, it's so cool. Oh, that's interesting. The flame is a 2D planes, as you can see here. The flame follows the direction of the camera. And it gets ridiculous if you look at it from the top, because now the flame is burning sideways. As you can see there. So yeah, it's like a 2D animated plane texture instead of an actual 3D object.
How greedy of me.
Yeah, that's why it actually looks really great. Another way for you to save performance. And actually, let's investigate this. So the bloom intensity changes. Okay, so it has like a little bit of a halo, and the effect is always looking at us from a different angle. Yeah, the lines is just there. It's not looking at us, but the star does looks at us from every angle. There's actually a clever way of optimizing the bloom. No, I think it uses bloom. You can see that when the star faded from the view, the bloom also reduces. So it's not like a 2D planes. It does has a little bit of a bloom. Which makes sense because I did enable bloom in my setting. Okay. Yeah, these two are still like a 2D texture, as you can see here. It always looks at the camera dead straight. And the water though. This is a similar water. How did he do this? Is there like a layer? How did he do this with the... Yeah, I know the water has like a reflective surface, but so it does have a little bit of a ripple effect and a distortion. It does reflect on the sky above. But I think, yeah, and it has like a layer above it, which is animated, but the bottom layer was not animated. It has like a scrolling layer structure, which does give us an impression that it is... Oh, and it has like a pattern. Interesting. Yeah, so there's like two layers. The bottom layer is still stationary. The top layer is moving. Actually, there's like 3 layers because there's 2 moving layers. Oh, actually, no. That's just like... This particular spot has this like glimmering patterns, while the top one has this, well, maybe more than 3 layers actually. Because there's like a big particle there that doesn't like go up and down, and there's like a smaller particle there. This is beautiful regardless. Oh. Okay. Are we supposed to walk on it? Oh, there is a path. Okay, this place... Yeah, hold up. This place looks really cool though. Wow, I love that golden sheen on the edges right there. Oh, those... Oh, it's so cool. Whoa, are we going down? Man, this place just beautiful. Holy heck. So this beacon is on like, I think it's 2D. Yeah, I think it's like an X cross, two planes cutting on each other and then like animating. It's kind of normal to save like a lot of performance. I don't know what this is though on the ground here. Maybe like a some kind of light? Yeah, it may be like an actual light, as you can see on the blades of grass there getting light up, but it doesn't actually light up our character, which is kinda interesting. Yeah, kinda weird actually. So you enter here, and then there's like some dark places here and there, overgrown environments. Like, it's really cool. And there's like some god rays, of course. What kind of like dungeon will be complete without like a god rays, right? Giant plants here and there. Overall, it's a really cool design. Here's like a control room. I wish there's like a mod for like a free roaming camera in this type of domains to like appreciate it further, like to see how does it work, but unfortunately modding is definitely a no-no for like a gacha game. There's oh, we got some frame loss. Oh, there's actually water bubbles inside of that thing. Interesting. Leaning structure. I like how we see there, like a overgrown domain type of thing. There are like vines everywhere, and like some plants growing out of nowhere, some like weird contraptions here and there. Really, really nice stuff. And there's like some water puddles here and there. Like the splash though. And okay, that's interesting. There are like two splash VFX for the water. Like the small one, and then there's the big one. And it seems like a 50-50 chance of either like being a small one or a big one. Very nice. And I do like this metal extractor kind of thing. Overall, it's a very nice domain design. Like there's like some waterfalls, some little chasms here and there for you to see down there. If I were like to make my own game, I'm going to probably have like some ores that spawn near water, maybe some kind of like that kind of generations, but
Keep up.
yeah, this is really nice. Feels comfy too, which is always like a big plus. And I do like this design where we can like overlook like some of the layouts in the floors below. I'm going to add that into like the cave generations if it's possible, because it looks like really good, really beautiful. And also like the open... It's probably not going to be this open though. It's probably going to be like a cave ceiling somewhere, maybe like a giant crystals hanging around. Yeah, and I also like this kind of design where there's like an ominous passage to like some nowhere areas, making the level like bigger than it actually is. That's really cool. Okay, that gate VFX is actually pretty cool though. I wonder if I can replicate that.
What's this? It'll only show up if you step on it?
Be careful and watch your step.
Oh, interesting. Oh, I like the shader effect there. Yeah, I like how do they do this with the shader? Does it work if I have like two objects? No, it just affected one of the playable character. Okay, that's actually really cool. So yeah, the shader is proximity based, and I wonder how they did that. The like the glossy effect with like those surrounding kind of thing. It could be like a collision base. It could be like a intersections between, maybe like there's a collider somewhere that collides with the surface of the shader. Oh, the shaders here are fancy. Like, look at that. Whew. I wonder how they did this. I don't know how they do that. Yeah, it looks really cool.